Okay, here we go. Welcome to the first ever Coastwood Football A-League Men's round recap. Round one has come and gone the opening week of the 2023-24 A-League Men's season, and a round that was full of surprises, full of intrigue, plenty of questions, plenty of answers as well. And a lot to discuss, that is for sure. And basically how this is going to work is every single Monday at this time, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time, we are going to gather together to discuss our thoughts of the weekend, the matches and everything, and try to make a community here. It's not just about me talking about my thoughts. It's about hearing from you guys. We're going to be, throwing a bunch of comments up on the screen. Would love to get your thoughts on the games that we've seen from this past round in the A-League Men's competition, because even after just 1 week, we have learned a lot. Good to see Bailey's here nice and early. Liesel, happy with how Western Sydney are going at the moment. They picked up a draw on the weekend. Dom is here. How's it going? Dom says Coast watch whilst making dinner. Perfect combo. Love it. And look, potentially, yeah, this is the kind of live stream where we can sit and have dinner at the same time. It's that kind of vibe, isn't it? And that's the thing. It's like it's meant to be chill. This is meant to be chill. So we're going to be going through each of the games one at a time, and then at the end as well, we're going to try something cool. So I did it. It's something that I've done before, where I put out like my team of the week. The team of the week is something obviously that a lot of we see a lot. And what we're going to try towards the end of the stream here is we're going to try and make a team of the week. But you guys are going to vote. You guys are going to help pick the players that we put in the Coastwood Football team of the week. The stream's going to go for about an hour or so, so make sure you stick around. And at the end, for the last 10, 15 minutes, we're going to pick our team of the week. Sid SC, not happy with how his team played this week. Dos, good to see you. He says great round. Look, hey, first of all, though, just as a whole, the opening round, really enjoyable. Really, really enjoyable. There were surprises. There were some really impressive performances from players who maybe we didn't expect too much of. Troy, good to see you here as well. Says hi, Lockie. What an open round weekend. Dos says perfect start to the most unpredictable league in the world. Jordan, good to see you here as well. Big weekend indeed. Jake says rate Glory's first game. Well, if I had to look, it wasn't terrible from Glory. We're going to be going in depth to their game towards the end of the stream. But if I had to give you an answer right now, Jake, it wasn't terrible. I'd give it like maybe a 7 out of 10. It was a game where Glory will probably be disappointed they didn't come away with a win. Good to see Brooke here as well. Thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be doing this every single Monday here, the round recap here on the Coastal Football YouTube channel. If you want to support, hit the like button. You can also consider sending through a super chat. And the other thing about sending through a super chat is that it guarantees that I'll see it. It guarantees that it'll be read out. I'll try to get around to as many comments as I can. But greatly appreciate you guys just being here, man, tuning in. So let's talk about it. And Liesel says Mariners back to their wooden spoon form. And that, of course, is the first game that we're going to talk about. Adelaide 3. Mariners 0, a match that was a great match to open the season, because this was the meeting from the season before that was really sort of entertained us and really captured the audiences towards the end of last season. These two teams met 3 times across like the space of a few weeks in the final round of the regular season, and then the 2-legged semis where Mariners were victorious on all 3 occasions. The Reds, though, showing up 3-0. And obviously a lot of concerns surrounding Adelaide United heading into this season. And then, of course, the loss of Craig Goodwin was the biggest loss in the A-League over the transfer window. I mean, to lose the best player in the A-League, you can't replace him. But Adelaide have shown already, sort of answered some of the critics, and have shown that maybe they don't need to worry about that loss of Craig Goodwin because of the number of young players coming through. And I don't think there's going to be just like one young guy that's coming through. Like, is it just Nestori or Nkunda? I don't know. But, there's a number of young guys. When we saw the likes of Bernardo Oliveira, Musa Toure coming on as well. They even didn't have like guys like Luka Ivanovic playing in this game. But look, from a neutral point of view, probably was quite an entertaining game. Mariners did have chances, but it was those injuries that really sort of, hurt the Mariners in this game, wasn't it? As we pull up the stats here on Google. And as you can see here, let's have a little zoom in. Mariners 24 shots. So actually, just ahead on the shot stats, but you can see this is sort of where the game was decided, and it was taking the chances, right? 6 shots on target, and basically for the latter half of the game, for the latter sort of I guess if you want to say like 15, 20 minutes, it felt like Mariners were just having shots from outside the box. Mikael Docker, Angel Torres, these guys, the new signings showed decent signs here and there. But they were just, it felt like they're almost trying too hard at times, the Mariners, really trying to force it a little bit. And credit to Adelaide, who really tightened up defensively. I mean, Nick Ansell, Alexander Popovich was starting at the back, and they were really, really impressive. So quite fascinating when you do look at those shot stats. It's not the Mariners. I know I put out quite an emotional tweet after the game, which, look, I was maybe a little bit harsh on, but yeah, it's interesting when you look at the stats, that's for sure. Jordan says Defs didn't expect that result. I don't think anyone did, too. Hey, like 3-0. Like, I think some people might have tipped, an Adelaide win, but 3-0 to the Reds is yeah, that's a. I certainly didn't see it coming either. I didn't see it coming. Liesel sort of made the comment here. Not sure if you're making it with a little bit of jest, but Mariners back to the wooden spoon form. Look, I'd be shocked if Mariners were to drop all the way to the bottom of the table this season. But look, there's a big task for Mark Jackson. A new coach coming in and a handful of mixing sort of the new players with the existing players. I think it's going to take a few weeks for that to gel together. But once it does get gelling, as I mentioned, the new signings of Docker, of Torres, I think these guys are really going to impress when they do really settle in. And I mean, they have already. Like we've seen in the AFC Cup. I mean, Angel Torres got a fantastic goal in the AFC Cup a couple of weeks ago as well. Alex in Adelaide here. Thanks for tuning in. Alex says, nice mix of youth and experience at United. I like this team. And I'll tell you what, let's have a look at the team that they did put out for this game. And you're right. I think it's Carl Vert has found a decent balance of youth and experience. So this is the team that we saw the Reds put out here. This is coming from, of course, on Google. It was a decent balance of youth and experience. I mean, you've got the experienced guys in the back in Ansel and Kito, and then alongside them, Popovich and Madania. Isaias alongside Johnny Yole. Yeah, I thought Johnny Yole was fantastic in midfield. He was non-stop, and Carl Vert said himself, he's Johnny Yole's a true box-to-box midfielder. Zach Clough had a decent game, chipping in with a goal as well. And then, look, Aaron Kunda, massive for him to get his first start in the A-League men's competition. He was threatening all night, just didn't find the goal. But Ben Halloran, it was who opened the scoring. And it was interesting as well to see that Halloran was deployed on the left wing, a position we haven't seen him play too much. He's usually deployed down the right or the middle. But looks like Ben Halloran will be replacing Craig Goodwin, which, look, obviously is a different approach, having a right-footed player on the left wing, but I think it'll work out. And look, we did see it at times as well. Aaron Kunda switching off to the left side as well. Sam says tipped Adelaide tipped a draw for this one. Very shocked how one-sided it was. Sam says Mariners were unlucky, though, with Caltac and Kowal going down, but finishing was poor. Finishing was poor, as we looked at a moment ago with the shots on target stats. But as we have a look at the Mariners lineup here, look, it's a strong lineup for the Central Coast. But yeah, those 2 first-half substitutions really, really hurt the Mariners, hey? I mean, losing and 2 of their better players, obviously Brian Caltac is a massive loss. Alu Kowal. I think I saw a tweet. I don't think we've got any official news on the injuries yet, but I saw a tweet. I can't remember who it was from. So just if someone knows, drop in the chat. Someone, it was a journalist that tweeted out that I think it was Caltac's injury wasn't as bad as expected. So hopefully these guys aren't out for too long. Look, disappointing for Jacob Farrell to pick up a red card, 2 quick yellows in quick succession. But look, this Mariners lineup, I think there's a lot of promise there. But hey, we'll see if Alu, Caltac are going to be involved this weekend against MacArthur. Obviously, Jacob Farrell. So you'd imagine Noah Smith will come straight in. We've got some more comments coming in here. Elizal says Medania looked very good. Indeed. Very, very good. And, someone like Yavi Lopez, who has obviously locked down that right back position for the Reds for a number of years now. This might be the season where he's sort of transitioned out and the young guys are getting even more game time. You got someone like Harry van der Sar, who is set to come back from injury as well. So they've got some options there at right back as well. Jacob, good to see you here, man. Good to see you here. So good to see you guys tuning in for this. What is our first A-League men's round recap? Dom says, for me, the game changed when Caltac had to go off and Farrell went off Irankunda into the center. Good point there, Dom. Good point. Yeah, and obviously we got another edition of that battle, the Farrell v Irankunda battle, which was so entertaining at the end of last season. But absolutely, I mean, losing Brian Caltac, is such a hard, such a difficult position to replace him because he is so good. And Mariners went to Nathan Paul, Jacob Farrell, the two youngsters at centre back. Look, it was disappointing for the Mariners that we didn't have, either Dan Hall or Cameron Windus, two more natural centre backs off the bench. As we have a look at the benches here. Plenty of youth on the bench. But look, I mean, great to see Oliveira as well back from injury. Musa Toure getting some decent game time as well. Ryan Tunnicliffe making his A-League men's debut as well. Luke Giselle making an appearance. And as I mentioned sort of earlier, they got a bunch of young players, Adelaide, who didn't even feature in this game when you got, Jay Barnett, Luka Jovanovic as well. And I'm sure there's plenty more who we will see throughout this season. For Mariners as well, I'm still stunned as to why Christian Theoharis hasn't gotten a start yet for the Mariners. Correct me if I'm wrong. Christian Theoharis is yet to start a game for Central Coast Mariners. For memory, he hasn't started a single game, right? Will Wilson, again, has been preferred on that left midfield position. But it's crazy just to think that Theoharis, who impressed so much, despite I don't think he scored a goal as well. He hasn't scored a goal yet for the Mariners. He's impressed so much. Surely he will get a game time soon. Get some game time soon. Marcus, good to see you here, man. Good to see you here. Marcus says it could be me, but I think all 12 squads look either undermanned or incomplete. Probably down to the level of foreign players or great emphasis on growing local talent. Interesting take there, Marcus. Yeah, I think it's going to take. I think one of the takeaways from this opening round is that it's going to take a little bit for the some of the new players to really settle in. We've still got a bunch of players missing with injury as well. But as we wrap up here on our first game, look, Adelaide 3, Mariners 0. I think the big takeaway is that Adelaide have almost already answered those concerns around Craig Goodwin. I think they do have the young players to replace him. Bernardo Oliveira, potentially someone who could start in there as well. But I think Nestori is going to be expected to start week in, week out, which is great. To a youngster like him with so much potential, set for a big move overseas soon, we'd expect. That he's going to be starting week in, week out. Central Coast Mariners, look, disappointing way to start the season for the reigning champions. My team, of course, are disappointed to open the campaign with a 3-0 loss. But as I sort of mentioned, there are promising signs there for the Mariners. I'm excited by that right flank if we pull it up again, like that right flank of Docker, Torres. I think that South American connection could work really well. Marco Tullio was a little quiet in this game as well. If he can get himself a bit more involved, Mariners can win games this season. Mariners can win games. All right. So we're going to jump into the next game very shortly. Couple more comments coming in. Jordan says Dylan Winslow-Halls has a lot of potential, just needs more confidence. I agree with you. He's a guy that works really hard. If you watch Dylan Winslow-Halls on the pitch, he never stops running. Fantastic. Troy says Theoharis deserves his start after last season. I like Wilson, but I think he'll be better as an impact sub. And we know Will Wilson can play in the center of the park as well. So Will Wilson good to have a versatile player like that. But Christian Theoharis, I mean, look, whether I don't know, is it a fitness thing? Like he's just not getting the start. So look, hopefully it does happen soon enough. West Sydney fans asks thoughts on Docker starting over Roo recently. I don't think it's too surprising. We do know Storm Roo was out injured for this game. But Mikael Docker, look, when you bring someone in from overseas, you'd expect that they're going to be in the starting lineup. And look, I like Docker already. He's shown a lot of energy. He was very, very involved in attack in this game. So I'd expect him to be starting and then Roo to be coming off the bench. Xander says, I think Docker showed good football. He could be one of the best fullbacks in the league with a bit of work. I'm right with you there, Xander. He's got all the attributes. Another comment here on Dylan Winslow-Halls. Doss says he worked incredibly hard for us, just didn't get the game time. Yeah, he didn't. He's sort of, for me, Dylan Winslow-Halls is one of those players who has a lot of potential, but just hasn't hit it yet. Hasn't quite found, a consistent minutes in a starting lineup and consistent goals. But so many people like him. Brisbane fans, Western fans, Mariners fans. And Xander says Storm and Docker will be a good battle. Jay Jizzle here. How's it going, man? Says our South American talent is amazing. Yeah, man. Tulio, Torres, Docker. Love it. Love it. All right, time to jump into our next game now. And on Saturday, we had 3 games, and it kicked off with let's fix up that scoreline because it wasn't a 1-0 win to the Bulls. It was a 1-1 draw between MacArthur FC and Brisbane Roar. What do we make of this game? Let me know your thoughts in the comments right now. So good to see you guys tuning in. If you want to support the stream, hit the like button. You can also consider sending through a super chat or a super sticker. If you send through a super chat, it guarantees that I'll see your comment and read it out. Okay. We're going to be talking about Victory very shortly as well. Football God, a big win for Victory on the weekend as well. So, MacArthur won. Raw won. Really entertaining game. From a neutral point of view, really entertaining game. It was a tight game. It was a game where, pretty easy to sum up. Brisbane had the possession, right? Brisbane had the possession and they looked dangerous on many occasions. MacArthur, it was all about the counterattack for them. All about the counterattack. And that's where they did look dangerous. And they opened the scoring in the second half through the new signing, Rafael Borges Rodriguez, who look, I love the signing when they did bring him in to bring him in from Melbourne City. He's expected to get more game time this year at MacArthur SC. He had limited minutes in Melbourne City. Great to see him score in his A-League debut for the Bulls. Jay O'Shea, of course, scoring for Brisbane, as he always does, from another set piece. So we've got some thoughts coming in the chats here. West Sid fan says Raw deserved the win. Costa also echoes those thoughts, saying I thought Raw should have won. Ryan, good to see Ryan here. How you going, man? Says really impressive performance from Brisbane Raw, just lackluster in the final third. And I think you sum it up really well there, Ryan. For me, for Brisbane, and look, maybe they were missing their star striker from the Australia Cup. It was arriving late from Young Socceroos duty. As we have a look at the lineups now. Of course, these lineups coming from Google. No Thomas Waddingham up front. Look, it was fascinating to see the lineup that they did go for. Brisbane Raw didn't really play with a recognised striker, at least, the 2 guys who are up the top. It was more of a 4-4-2. It was Berenguer and Gomulka who were sort of the most advanced players. And both those guys are certainly not strikers. You had decent threat from Henry Horn, Millie Ulsnich in the wide areas, and also, Coletti, O'Shea pulling the strings in the base of midfield. I think the defense in Brisbane looks really solid as well. Both Aldred and Neville already looking solid. And Macklin Freak made a fantastic save in this game as well. But yeah, Ryan, I think maybe maybe the reason why Brisbane failed to win this game was the fact that they didn't have Thomas Waddingham, someone up top with quality to finish. And I was surprised that, number 8 here for Brisbane, Jonas Markowski, a striker brought into the club from Altona Magic. I could be wrong there. Someone correct me if it's not Altona Magic. I'm surprised that he didn't get the nod here up top. I'm surprised he didn't. Let's actually have a look at the stats as well, because I'd be curious to see it. That sort of sums it up as well, and sort of backs up your thoughts there, Ryan. For Brisbane Raw there, you can see 20 shots, just the 6 on target, though. If someone like a Thomas Waddingham or, someone of more quality and experience is up there, they could have, grabbed 2 or 3 goals in this game, Brisbane Raw, where MacArthur, they had more shots on target in terms of like the ratio with shots and shots on target. A lot of this coming from the counterattack. Spencer says, very weird seeing Tarish up front. Yeah, it was an interesting decision by Ross Aloisi to deploy him up front, that's for sure. Ryan says, yeah, we massively missed Waddingham. Xander with a big take on MacArthur here says, MacArthur on a day can challenge any club in the league, but wasn't quite there for them on Saturday. Yeah, look, I think MacArthur, they're one of those teams who I think you'd say this about a lot of the teams who either lost or drew this weekend, have potential to really challenge this season. I think actually that's one of the overall takeaways from this opening round is that every team showed promise. Like there are positive signs for every single team, even the teams that lost. there's enough signs that they could that you can have a decent season this year. So that's the encouraging thing for even the teams that lost or failed to win this weekend. When you look at the lineup for MacArthur, because we will quickly touch on that as well. Strong lineup as well. I mean, Lewis, Bacchus, Rafael Borges, Rodriguez, De Villa, Jedru, love Jedru, fantastic young winger, and then Valerie Germain, who didn't get on the score sheet this game, but could well bag a handful of goals throughout the upcoming season. Good to see some of you guys here for our first round recap. So a 1-1 draw for the Bulls and Brisbane Roar to kick off the season. It was, I think that was the one and only prediction I got correct from the weekend. The one and only prediction we got correct. Jordan here. We'll read out a couple more comments on this game before jumping onto the big blue. Jordan says Parsons to start over Miliusnic and Waters up front. Great goal scoring front three with Hoare. I like it, Jordan. Yeah, I think it'd be great to see someone like Alex Parsons get more game time for Brisbane. We saw him come off the bench in this game. And then, Waddingham up top. Yeah, for sure. I think they need Carlo Armiento back too. I know a lot of Brisbane fans love Carlo Armiento. If they can get him back from injury, look, there's options that you have there as well. Berenguer, Hoare, Miliusnic, Armiento, Parsons, Waddingham. There's enough there for Brisbane to be scoring goals every single week. Every single week. Sporty asked, do you know if Cahill is playing? We did. He wasn't involved in this squad. Yeah, we're yet to see Shea Cahill make his appearance, his debut. Competitive debut for Brisbane. But hey, hopefully it's soon. A lot of excitement around Shea Cahill, obviously being the son of the great Tim Cahill, Socceroos legend. All right, it is time to jump onto the big one. No, not yet. Of course, we've got City v Western coming up. So Melbourne City 1, Western United 2. This was a real surprise for me, and I'm sure a surprise for a lot of you guys. What did you make of this? Because Melbourne City, the reigning premiers, who, and coming off that massive 6-1 grand final defeat many months ago now, I've rebuilt the squad after many major losses. Geordie Boss, Marco Tilio, Van der Ven, Berisha, Berenguer, O'Neill. The list goes on and on in terms of the departures that City had over the off-season. Western United rebuilt a little bit as well. Let some of those older players go with Lacroix, Topper Stanley, Kilkenny leaving, Jamie Young. And I love the squad that Western United have put together for this season. They played with a lot of energy, a lot of togetherness. There was a lot of grit in Western United's performance, and they managed to get the 3 points against Melbourne City, a team who is tipped by many to have once again a fantastic season. Let's first of all talk about the away team side here, because I think it's a very, very impressive lineup. First of all, Tommy Hewitt-Bell in goals made a great save in this game. A solid defense in Risdon, EMI, Tratt, and Garuccio. But it's that front four that is just terrifying, man. It's terrifying. And I think this is going to be the starting front. Sorry, I shouldn't say front four. Front six, if you like. Midfield and strikers. Pena, Lustica, Thurgate, Danzaki, Botic, Wales. It's stacked. And hey, great to see Daniel Pena back in the A-League. And as Troy says here, that Pena flick was amazing. Dom says, I got this game right. Western look good this year. WD says, Botic already giving him vibes. Sporty says, Togga Arslan was incredible. And I tell you what, his goal that he scored was fantastic as well. So while we can talk a lot about this Western United lineup and how strong it looks, great to see Botic, Wales on the score sheet. The two strikers getting on the score sheet this game. This is the Melbourne City lineup that they had for this game. Defense very solid. This is basically almost a full-strength lineup. I don't know whether you bring Leo Natel into a winger role. Obviously, Matt Leckie. He's out with injury for the time being. But the fact that this City lineup that you see on the screen now didn't win the game is maybe a little bit concerning, because there's a lot of quality there. The goal was fantastic, though, from Togga Arslan, wasn't it? WD says, so good to have Penny back in the A-League. Sporty says, I think Arslan can make an impact, but they were missing Leckie. Yeah, you're going to have Matt Leckie in that side, hey? Jordan says, crazy how long Lustica has been around for. He's got a lot of A-League experience, doesn't he? How many games has Steven Lustig played now across the A League? Because he's been at what, Brisbane, he's been at Wanderers, now Western United. Was he at Adelaide? I think he was at Adelaide too, wasn't he? Yeah. West Sid says Botic has got ice in his veins. I love Noah Botic, man. The Olyroos striker, fantastic. He's got all the. I said it in my Western United season preview. I spoke about him specifically. He's a player who has all of the attributes to become like a top Socceroos striker for a long time. So, yeah, love him. 2 times champ. Good to see you here, mate. Says McLaren. Really looking not too sharp in this game. Hope he picks up. Yeah, he's been a little bit quiet lately for Melbourne City across like the Australia Cup in the Asian Champions League. So I think that's one of the things that might take a little bit of time for Melbourne City, getting those new players gelling with Jamie. Look, so, I mean, we saw with Arslan's goal, they already are gelling pretty well. I mean, that was a really nice worked move between Arslan and McLaren. But look, you got so many new names there, you know. I mean, that all of those midfield players are new for Melbourne City. So McLaren is in a completely new setup there. Lapane, Saki, Yakalish, Ugarkovic, Arslan. All these guys are new. James asks a big question here. Is Rado under pressure? I think the answer to that question would have to be he's starting to be. Yeah, I think that pressure is starting to grow. Look, when you lose a grand final 6-1, when you win a premiership and then go on a few weeks later to lose a grand final 6-1, there's already going to be a lot of some people who maybe are questioning whether maybe Rado is the right person to lead City moving forward. And look, they made it to the Australia Cup semi-finals. Good run there. They have had a decent start to the Asian Champions League, but to lose your opening, A-League fixture at home is very, very disappointing. It's going to be crucial for them to bounce back next week and get a result. And look, they have a fascinating game next week away to Adelaide United, which, as we know, is a tricky place to go. If City lose to Adelaide, I don't know, man. It's looking pretty interesting. It'd be massive, wouldn't it? Good to see Ollie here as well. So good to see all you guys tuning in. If you want to support the stream, hit the like button. You can also consider sending through a super chat. We're doing round recaps every single Monday evening. So much to talk about. We're going through each of the games one at a time. Troy here, just on the coaching situation at City, says it also shows how successful and good Kisnorbo was for City. I mean, that's when they were really at the peak. You got to say, hey, Patrick Kisnorbo. I mean, he won a championship with them. Could Rado Vidic take City to a championship? I don't know. Random question here, unrelated, but that's okay. Spencer asks, should Frank Karacic join an A-League club? Would love it. Yeah, man, would love it. We'd love to see the Socceroo right back in the A-League. Dom says, I wish I could have played 2 goalkeepers in fantasy this week. I have Hewitt, Bell, and Paulson. Me too, Tom. Those are my 2 keepers because I think a lot of people went for those guys. They're 2 keepers who are expected to start this season, and they are very cheap when it comes to goalkeepers. Just on that City Adelaide fixture, which is coming up next week, which we'll talk briefly about. We're going to talk about the round 2 fixtures briefly at the end of the stream. Jordan says, I don't think City wins in Adelaide. Probably a draw. Yeah, and look, and that's not a great start, obviously, is it, for City? For a team like Melbourne City who expect success season in, every single season. If they, a loss and then a draw away to Adelaide, that's it's a rough start. It's a rough start. Weddle, we're going to talk about Glory very, very shortly. Let's keep shuffling through our games indeed, though, and it's time to talk about the big one, the big blue. Sydney FC, the Australia Cup winners taking on Melbourne Victory, a team who have gone through a little bit of a rebuild, not a huge rebuild, but a small rebuild against Melbourne Victory. At Melbourne Victory. 2-0. Melbourne Victory win. A fantastic performance from Zinedine Makac. Roderick Miranda, De Silva, fantastic at the back for Melbourne Victory. We did a watch along for this game. A lot of you guys were here for that one. It was so much fun because it was a dramatic match. Drop your thought on this one, and we'll whack the comments up here on the screen. First of all, I mean, I don't think this was a result that many people predicted. Did anyone predict a Victory win? Machash, if that's the right pronunciation. West Sid says, Zinedine Zidane show. And Jordan says, how good to see Sydney lose. Woohoo. And Sporty, I mean, that's right? That's right, hey? Machash the bulldozer. I mean, let's just quickly talk about that goal from Zinedine Machash. What a play. What a move. Just the way he took on so many players and just wiped out Jake Girdwood Reich. Left him flat on the floor. No foul in it for me. What a run and what a goal. And what a win for Melbourne Victory. Bruno Fornaroli capitalizing on a mistake after Sydney FC were trying to play out from the back as well. Brock here, good to see you here. Brock says Bruno Fornaroli was very clinical with his shot on goal. Fantastic finish from Bruno, wasn't it? And West Sid says Victory looking like how they were in 21-22. Yeah, potentially. Look, if they could have a season like that again, that'd be huge for them. That'd be huge. Dom says Sydney did not look good, in my opinion, similar to their first half against Brisbane. Yeah, and look, I think there's maybe a bit of questions. There's some questions in terms of which Sydney side were we going to see. The first half side from the Australia Cup final or the second half side, because there were two different teams. And we got the first half side for basically the whole match. And look, they had chances in the game here. The stats here, which come from Google, let's have a look. It was Sydney who ended up racking up 21 shots. But it was almost a similar story to the Mariners Adelaide game where, Sydney just starting to get really frustrated and just having shots from long range. Joe Lolly having pops from like 30 meters out. And Victory, who were just that little bit more clinical and looked really dangerous on the counter attack. I was really, really impressed with Melbourne Victory in this game. Let's talk about some of the lineups that we saw. Look for Sydney FC. Very similar lineup to the Australia Cup final. A couple changes. Burgess in for Holman. Gomez in for Wood. I think maybe Patrick Wood should have started in this game. Look, Wood is coming off some great form in the Australia Cup. I think it might have been the better decision to start Patrick Wood here. And when we have a look at the Victory lineup, look, it was interesting to see they had a bunch of new faces making their appearances here. But the question for you guys right now is this Victory squad that you see on the screen right now capable of challenging for the title this year? Because the squad that you see on the screens right now is probably full strength, right? Like, is anyone missing? I mean, Jakey Brimmer was on the bench. Great to see Jake Brimmer back from injury. Fantastic. But look, Izzo and goals. Guerrier, De Silva, Roderick, Miranda, Traore. That's a solid, really solid back four with a lot of experience. And then there were Victory debuts. Fatigue for Machash in there as well. For Arzani, who didn't score or assist, but still put in a decent shift. I thought Velupile looks dangerous as well. And yeah, through the middle, I mean, Machash, Fornaroli. Fantastic. Dom says Ryan Teague was very impressive. He was. Looked very calm and composed. Already settled into that Victory midfield. West Sid fan says Teague and Machash. Wow, they were both fantastic, hey? Missing the Brox. No Brox. And hey, look, I'm curious to see what role Lee Broxham plays this season for Melbourne Victory, because I don't know if he gets so much game time just because of the number of options they have. I mean, let's have a quick look at the bench here. The benches for both teams. This sort of summed it up a lot. Look at the benches here. Let's just really discuss the benches for a second. Look at the bench here for Sydney. It's really young. It's really youthful. You look at the bench for Victory and look at the experience they have. Economides, Falami, Chapman, Stefan Negro, Jake Brimmer back from injury. Look, did that decide the game? I mean, it definitely played a factor. When you've got those experienced players to bring on, I think something that's really going to help Victory and a reason as to why I've predicted Victory to have a good campaign this year is because of that squad depth. They have, at least two decent players challenging for every single position on the park. And look, another fascinating thing that we can discuss is, like, where does Jake Brimmer fit into the squad now? Because off the back of that performance, you're not benching Zinedine Machash. Are you dropping Teague or Marchand? I don't think so. They were great. Question for you guys is, where does Jake Brimmer fit into this team? Jake Brimmer won a Johnny Warren medal just just over a year ago, right? And don't get me wrong, love Jake Brimmer. He's a fantastic player. but I don't know where he fits into this team. I don't know because I don't know which of those midfield players you drop. Look on the formation here. It's obviously got a 4-4-2. Machash more so playing as like a number 10, an attacking mid. So yeah, man. A midfield 3, says West Sydney fan. Sporty says Nish can go on the bench. Look, actually, that could be interesting. Whether they maybe play maybe Machash out wide, maybe Machash on the wing, and then Brimmer through the middle. That might be the way to go. Yeah. 2 times champs asks, could Machash play as a striker? As far as I'm aware, I don't know if it's a natural. I don't think it's a natural position for him. From what research I've done, Machash can play as like a number 10 or potentially as one of those 6s. Good to see Darth Eduardo here. Boston's here as well. So, a really impressive performance from Melbourne Victory. An opening round win and a massive, massive result. And look, they're heading into a home game against Newcastle next week with a lot of confidence, and they'd be expected to win that game as well. Victory could, make an early charge towards the top of the table here in the early rounds. Michael, good to see you here, man. Unfortunately, we just wrapped up talking about Western United. The great thing is, obviously, this is going to be available on replay. If you guys want to catch my thoughts on any of the games, feel free to jump on the rewind, jump on the replay, and you can check it out. Boston says, hey, Lockie, I'll be joining on Monday streams. Boston, great to hear, man. Great to hear. Every single Monday, we're going to be doing A-League Men round recaps, and right now we are talking about the Big Blue. The Big Blue. The Fizzer, new viewer, loving your content. Keep it up. Fizzer, thanks very much, man. Glad you found the channel. Appreciate you jumping in the live chat as well. Fizzer, I believe you're a Brisbane Roar fan. Says go Brisbane Roar. Huge game for Brisbane next week at home to Sydney FC. Okay, let's talk about the next game. Towards the end of the stream as well, we are going to be doing a it's sort of going to be a collaborative thing. We are making our team of the week. So make sure you stick around towards the end of the stream. We're going to be making our team of the week. We're also going to be doing a brief discussion on next week's matches, a huge round 2 coming up in the A-League men's competition. Wanderers 0, Phoenix 0. But there's a lot to talk about in this game, despite there being no goals. Wow, Wellington Phoenix defensively really strong, and a man of the match performance from young keeper Alex Paulson. Let's jump to our stats first of all from Google, and look, it's this sums it up pretty much, doesn't it? I mean, Wanderers with the 16 shots, but only managed 4 on target, which I think is a compliment to Wellington's defense. It's not that Wanderers were like just bombarding that goal with shot after shot, and there were crucial goal scoring opportunities. It was Wellington who were just staying really well structured at the back, and a new setup defensively from Wellington Phoenix. And they talked about it in the commentary. And as I was watching this game, I was watching Wellington Phoenix specifically, and they do have a new formation. First of all, let's talk about the home team here. Drop your thoughts on this game in the chat. What do you think of it? As we talk about this Wanderers team here, great to see Tate Russell back from injury. We love it when a player returns from a long-term injury. Marcelo Bonatig getting the start ahead of Tom Beadling. Jack Clisby back at the club. New signings, Perez, Brillante, Hendricks. I thought Brillante and Hendricks both were solid in the center of midfield. Milanovic was the real stand-up player, though. I mean, he was on the left. He was on the right at times as well. He was very dangerous, wasn't he? He was taking on players, playing with a lot of confidence, Nikola Milanovic. He was very, very good. And hey, that front two, which, looks really dangerous, and Anderson and Borrello held scoreless in this game. We're going to talk about this fascinating Wellington Phoenix setup in just a sec, but let's have a look at some of the comments here. Xander says, don't know how Wanderers didn't score, but Knicks were so bloody solid. They were indeed. Troy with the big take says, I think Clisby is the best left back in the league, in my opinion. Well, look, I think he's very underrated. I think people need to rate Clisby a little bit higher, hey? West Sid fan says, we were missing Ninkovic's creativity in midfield. WD says, Bonatig was pretty good. He looked all right, didn't he? He looked all right. Interesting point here. Smith says Talley has a lot to answer for not playing Sermon and Paulson last season, despite some crap from the starters. Sporty says Milanovic was fantastic and Borello was tired from England. That's a good point. Borello did only play an hour in this game. He came off after returning late from the UK. Sporty says, as a Wanderers fan, we could not crack through the defense. Nama here, Wanderers fan. Nama says, bro, I'm confused. Why wasn't there no Aiden Simmons, Klur, Ninkovic? Great question. I think, from what I gather, I'm pretty sure all these guys were out with injury. I believe Simmons has an injury at the moment. But yeah, no Klur, no Ninkovic. So it's Tate Russell who came back in. And yeah, Ninkovic. We'll see. Hey, we'll see. Xander with a hot take here says Knicks to challenge for the 6th this season. They always do and are always judged lower than they should be. You should even be a victim of this, Lockie. It happens every season. I keep predicting Wellington to struggle. I look at the lineup. You look at the ins and outs, and it's like, oh, I don't see how the side's going to compete this year. But they always manage to do it. And I'll tell you what, after this gritty defense performance, they could be a really tricky team to beat this season. But I wanted to talk about this Wellington Phoenix lineup because there's a lot to dive into, and it's a really unique setup as well. From this graphic here on Google, you can see it's a 4-3-3, and that's pretty much what it was in attack. But they almost defend in like a Christmas tree formation, sort of like a 4-3-2-1 with the wingers tucking in. So what we saw happen here was that back four stayed very flat in defense. Alex Rufer stayed very central, sort of that holding midfielder. And then what we saw, I don't know if you guys spotted it in this game, but the two wingers here for Wellington, so Barbarousse is off the left, Ball off the right, were tracking inside to track the two central midfielders for Wanderers, Brillante and Hendricks, to try and not allow them time and space on the ball. Is really fascinating. And then it was up to the sort of the wider midfield players, if you like, Pennington and Krayev, to track the fullbacks pushing up in Clisby and Russell. It was really fascinating to watch. And it worked so well for Wellington. I mean, to hold Wanderers to just 4 shots on target. I mean, it really, really worked a treat. And that's why I say I think Wellington, look, if they can keep up performances like this, are going to be a really tricky team to beat. And Alex Paulson was fantastic in goals. The only concern for Wellington is maybe the depth. And you look at the bench, and it is inexperienced. Having said that, a lot of the young players could, really impress this season and have breakout campaigns. Mohamed Altai, he's arrived from Jets. Ben Old, we know him. He's been there for a few seasons in the Wellington first team as well. A pretty useful team, to be fair, as well for Western Sydney Wanderers. Battleado, Zapsford. Great to have Lockie Brook back in the A-League as well. So, a gritty performance in the end from Wellington Phoenix, who were able to hold West Sydney Wanderers to a 0-0 draw. Wanderers have a fascinating game next week against Western United at home. We'll be hoping to get the win in that one, but Western United look like they're going to be the real deal this year as well. Xander says here in the chat, Xander's a Sydney FC fan, of course. When Sydney play Wanderers in November, seeing a midfield of Ninko and Brillante will definitely hurt a bit. Yeah, dude, we've seen so many players rotate around, especially even with like the Melbourne clubs. Hey, like Brillante has played for both Melbourne Victory and Melbourne City as well. Hey, yeah. Smith says, I don't think I realized Antonsen was on the pitch. And yeah, that sums up how good Wellington were in defense. They were able to really silence these guys. I think Anderson had like a couple half chances here and there, but really quiet, wasn't he? Really, really quiet. So, as we mentioned, solid defense performance from Wellington Phoenix. I think that's the main takeaway from this game. It is time to talk about the final game of the round. We're going to jump into our team of the week towards the end of the stream. Final game, Glory 2, Jets 2. Entertaining match from a neutral point of view, this is probably the most entertaining match of the round. A 2-2 draw. We love it. A late equaliser from Newcastle Jets, rescuing a point for them. Perth Glory looked good in this game. And I think, again, they're one of those teams who you got to say, with, more minutes in the legs of the new players, more games being played together. I think they're going to be a really tricky team this season, especially at home as they were last year. Drop your thoughts on this game in the chat. We've got Xander coming in saying Jets looked solid. I'm telling you, they make the top 6. Not a lot of people predicting that, but hey, could happen. Could happen. Xander says both teams looked good. Glory just inconsistent, but both teams will get better. Smee says Sal is showing why he's dropped as New Zealand's number 1. Second goal was insane, says Troy. Absolutely. And look, there's a lot of competition for goal of the round, but you're probably going to say that Costa Grozos does take it out. I mean, what a strike it was from the Jets midfielder, able to find the space and send it past Ollie Sale. It was a fantastic strike. Let's first of all have a look at the stats here. Apologies for some of the camera glitching. Very, very entertaining match. 2 goals for either side. The stats show quite an interesting story here. Perth Glory, with the shots and the shots on target that they had, probably felt like they could have won this game, right? 10 shots on target. Really challenged Newcastle Jets, especially in the second half. After they scored that second, they could have had, a third and a fourth easily. Easily. New Jets football, obviously a Newcastle Jets fan. Says, looked shaky in defense, to be honest. Heard today we may get new ownership. Look, hopefully it does get sorted out for Newcastle Jets sooner than later. 11 shots for the Jets, just the 3 on target. Possession stats pretty even as well for both teams. It was Perth Glory who were, creating the better of the chances. But the Jets, look at new, relatively fresh lineups for both teams. There were a lot of players making their debuts in this game for Glory. They had Sale, Shushnya making their A-League debuts for Glory. Carluccio, Bozanic. Bozanic was, being Ollie Bozanic, working hard. And look, being a Mariners fan, it reminded me of watching Ollie Bozanic under that Alan Stadger team at Mariners a couple of seasons ago. Bozanic was dropping deep quite a lot, collecting the ball and then moving it forward. Great to see young Daniel Benny start on that left wing. I thought he looked pretty decent, showed some good signs. Adam Taggart, of course, getting on the score sheet for Glory as well. Luka Ivanovic starting up top. The Newcastle Jets, again, a lot of new players coming in. The first interesting thing was to see Jason Hoffman starting at centre back and Carl Jenkinson at right back. Last season, under Arthur Pappas, those two were sort of flipped. We did see Jenkinson playing as a central defender, but new coach Robbie Stanton looking to swap that around. Smee says, as a Jets fan, I might be able to clarify, but I guess the coach doesn't trust the use of a Natta Kankar partnership. And yeah, I mean, I think that was the partnership we saw in the Australia Cup round of 32 match for Jets against Brisbane Roar many weeks ago now. Because Kankar was on the bench, wasn't he? Like, if we scroll down, yeah, he was, wasn't he? He was. Good to see Stefan Kolakowski make an appearance as well and scored. Yeah, he scored, didn't he? He did score for Glory, 64th minute, of course. But the late set-piece goal from Apostolos Stamatolopoulos in the second minute of second half injury stoppage time rescued the point for Newcastle Jets, which could prove to be a crucial point. Jason Bertamir made his A-League debut as well here for Newcastle Jets. Showed decent signs. He looked pretty calm and composed on the ball, but nothing too, nothing too incredibly amazing just yet. But this is a Jets side that I think is exciting. I think there's good young players. Great to see, Lockie Bayliss, former Central Coast Mariner, making his A-League debut here for the Jets. There is goals here. There is excitement here, I think, for the Jets. And some good young players coming through as well. Where's Reno Piscopo? It's a great question. Probably out with injury. Reno does tend to struggle with injury quite a bit, doesn't he? He does. And WD says half that Jets bench is straight out of the Wanderers. Yeah, a lot of players have played for both clubs, haven't they? Lucas Moragas, very good from left back in this game as well. He was very, very good. So, a fantastic game to finish off the round. Glory 2, Jets 2. Great from a neutral point of view. Difficult watch in the end, I guess. Well, not I don't want to say difficult watch, but heartbreak in the end for Glory fans who were probably disappointed to see their team, lose with that late. Sorry, not lose. Lose the win, if you like. Draw the game with that late equalizer. So this is a quick look at the ladder, and as you can see here, obviously it's been one round, but Adelaide, Victory, Western, all starting with a win. And I thought this is quite interesting. I mean, how crazy is this? The bottom three, the three teams that lost in the opening round, are the reigning premiers, the reigning Australia Cup winners, and the reigning A-League men's champions. Isn't that funny? Has that ever happened in the history of the A-League? I don't know. Melbourne City, Sydney FC, Central Coast Mariners have all won silverware, in the past, 6 months? And they all start the season with a loss. I'm sure the ladder is going to look very different to what it looks like right now, but promising starts for the Reds, Victory, and Western. But still, we'll have to wait for a few rounds into the season until we get to some conclusive sort of thoughts on how the teams are going to go this year. Thanks for that as well, Newey. Renner was injured as well as Archie. All right, let's finish off the stream by going through our team of the season. We're going to pull up Canva here. We're going to pull up Canva, and we're going to whack in our team of the season. So we are going to breeze through this, and basically how it's going to work here is that you guys are going to help me out. You're going to help me pick the team of the week, the Coastal Football Collaborative Team of the Week for round 1. In goals, there's a few we can talk about. Throw your suggestions in the chat right now, but there is a name that I'm thinking of. It is tricky, though. There's probably a few you could put in there. I thought Macklin Freak. He made a great save for Brisbane against MacArthur. Thomas Hewitt-Bell was very, very good. Alex Paulson was fantastic for Wellington. What was the other? I mean, even Danny Vukovic had a decent game for Mariners. But, you guys have read my brain. Brooke says Paulson. Newey Jet says Paulson. West Sid says Paulson. Jordan says Paulson or Freak. Freak was fantastic. But it's got to be Paulson. Doss says here that Izzo made more saves, but Paulson's distribution was better. Let's whack him in. Here. Paulson is going to be our goalkeeper for our team of the season. All right, back four. Who's going to be our right back here for our team of the season? Actually, I'll tell you what. Let's start with centre backs. I want to put Roderick Miranda in there. I want to put De Silva. I think Scott Wooten had a great game. Throw some centre backs in the chat right now. West Sid fan says Sermon and Miranda. Marcelo says Nama. Miranda. Guerria had a good game, didn't he? De Silva as well, says Jordan. Fantastic. All these guys were fantastic, hey? Sermon. Kelly Hild at left back. Russell right back, says Nama. Ansel was great, wasn't he? And he got the goal. I think Ansel's probably a lock for centre back. And for the other centre back position, I reckon we should go Miranda. Roderick Miranda feels like a pretty easy option to throw in there now. Team of the week. Team of the week here. Give us a sec here as we swap to our backup camera. All right. We are completing our collaborative team of the season here to wrap up our live stream. So we've only got a few more centre back defensive positions to fill in here. I want to go Miranda. 2-time champ says Miranda. West Sid fan says Miranda. Let's do it. So our centre back options for team of the week: Miranda and Ansel. All right, right back. Moragas left back, says Troy. Give us our right back and left back options. Right back, left back options. Nama earlier on said Kelly Hild and Russell. think Kelly Hield was solid. He was very solid, wasn't he? Madania. Sorry, I don't know why I keep saying Madania. Madonna. Risdon was okay. Risdon was all right. No one really jumps out for me. Hey, Payne, yeah, Payne's a decent option as well. Gary, I am leaning towards Gary. Are you guys cool with me going Gary? I think he was very solid for victory. Kept Robert Mack very quiet in the big blue. Should we go Madonna though? I think it's either between Gary or Madonna. If no one has any objections, I think we're just going to go Jason Gary here. Madonna was good though, but I think we're going to go Gary here. If we have no objections, we're going to lock in Gary. Left back options as well. Sporty says Courtney Perkins. Russell came back from an ACL. That is true. Left back options. Doss is very keen on Risdon being in there the right back. I object, says Doss. Let's go left back. Who have we got that we could probably slot in at left back? There's no one that's really jumping out right brain. I think Ryan Kidder was really solid for Adelaide actually in their win. He was very busy from left back, getting involved in attack as well. Dama Traore was right, all right as well. Kelly Hield, says Brooke. Kiddo, says Jordan. Kiddo was great, says Doss. Clisby, Moragas, yeah. Vujitsa, yeah. He was okay. I think Kiddo is the one I want to go for. Got a couple shouts here for Kiddo. We're doing our combined team of the week here. I want to go Kiddo. I think working well, especially, having a lot of responsibility. Or should we go Moragas? Doss says Kiddo is just above Clisby for this round. I'll tell you what, we'll pop Kiddo in there. We'll pop Kiddo in there for now. Let's jump into the midfield positions. First of all, central midfielders. And look, if they're attacking mids, if they're defensive mids, we're just going to put them in the same category for now. Same category. Dom's also back in Kiddo for left back as well. Arslan, says Doss. He was very impressive and scored a great goal. Got a shout for O'Shea from Jordan. Yull, yep. Johnny Yull was very good. Coley, Arslan. We've got a few shouts here for Arslan. I think we should lock him in. We're building our team of the week here on Canva. I think Arslan is going to be one, and then Clough is a decent shout. Pena, yeah, maybe. I mean, I don't know if he's ahead of some of the other guys. Teague was very good. Yes, West Sid fan says Teague. He was very good. I kind of want to go O'Shea. Teague was good, but I think O'Shea, look, getting a crucial goal for Brisbane, pulling the strings. Grozos. I don't know if he, scored a great goal, but I don't know if he did enough to, warrant a team of the week. Slot. Colley's a good shout as well. I think Jay O'Shea is the obvious choice here. Well, says O'Shea's a shout. I think with a crucial goal. Okay, team of the week. Winger positions. Throw some wingers in the chat right now. Left or right wing? Who were some wide players who impressed you this week in the A-League? Let me know. Just wants Grozos on the right wing. Aaron Kunda, he was good. Halloran was good, says Jordan. He was, yes. Very solid. If we could just avoid, just as a comment, spamming names in the chat, that would be great. Just to make sure we keep it nice and balanced and even for everyone. Aaron Kunda, Halloran. Dude, I'll tell you who we're forgetting. Are we forgetting Machash? Dude, should we tweak the formation and get Zidane Machash in there? I'm surprised no one mentioned Machash. I forgot him too. Milanovic is worth a shout. Borges Rodriguez, yeah, for sure. Two times champ, says Benny, had a quietly good game. He was good in his first A-League men's appearance of the season. I'll tell you what I want to do. I kind of want to put Machash here. I know it's in a wide position, or maybe we could make this a number 10 player. Should we put Grozos in there? Doss is keen on Grozos being in there. Troy says Grozos as well. Clayton Taylor was decent, says Jordan. We'll throw Grozos in there. We'll put him on the right-hand side. We might tweak the formation afterwards. We'll put Grozos in there. Machash has to be in there for sure. This is WD. I'll tell you what, let's put Machash on the left. We'll call this a narrow 4-4-2 if you like. Both these guys, Machash and Grozos, played more centrally. No worries, Boston. Thanks for tuning in. And to finish off our team of the week, drop in some strikers right now. Here in the chat, we are building a collaborative team of the week. Round 1 for the A-League men's. Angel Torres, he was lively for the Mariners. Who are the strikers who you are putting in your team of the week? Let me know. Botic is a good shout. Scored a crucial penalty, the winner. Botic and Wales, Doss. I know you're a Western fan, Doss. We could put Aaron Kunda up there, up top. Fornaroli and Wales, says Nama. Fornaroli, clinical, says Jordan. Taggart and Botic, yeah. Got a few shouts for Botic. I'd be happy to put him in the team of the week. Chuck Aaron Kunda up there, says 2 times champ. I think Botic is one that has to go up there. Should we put Fornaroli up there? Let me know. Wales, says Dom. Wales played better than Botic. Dom also says Wales. Troy says Botic. Who do we pick? Do we put both of them? Stamatolopoulos. That was a crucial goal from Stamatolopoulos. Taggart. Oh, dude, so many suggestions here. I kind of want to go Fornaroli. Nama says Fornaroli as well. Aaron Kunda. Not really. Hey, Jordan, you sum it up really, really well there, Jordan. It wasn't really. Jordan says not really a strikers round this week. That's sort of spot on. There's no one that really jumps out. There's no one who showed up and really ran the show up top. So, Fornaroli deserves a shout. Should we maybe go Wales instead of Botic then? That seems to be maybe the feeling in the chat. We'll go Wales. He did play well up top. Doesn't usually play up top. Botic and Wales. Oh, man. Fornaroli, Taggart. Our final position here. We'll go Wales. We'll go Wales instead of Botic. And for the final striker position, I think Fornaroli might be the one to go in there. Open the scoring in the big blue. Bruno Fornaroli. How do we feel about that team of the week? Paulson in goals, Guerrier, Ansel, Miranda, Kitso in defense. All those guys kept a clean sheet. Grozos, Arslan, O'Shea, and Machash in the midfield areas. Fornaroli in Wales. Or do we throw someone else in there? Aaron Kunda. Troy says, I like it. We'll leave it there for now. I reckon we'll leave it for now. That's a solid team of the week. Before we jump off, guys, appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to be doing this live every single Monday. We are going to quickly do a quick look ahead to next round's games, and there's some fantastic fixtures coming up next week. So let's have a quick look. And do a mini preview. My round predictions video will be coming out later in the week. Fantastic round of games. All these times that you see here are Australian Eastern Daylight Time. So for people in the states of New South Wales, Victoria, and Tasmania. So Brisbane v Sydney, Friday night. Australia Cup final rematch. Huge game. I think Brisbane could win that one. Distance derby, Wellington back at home to take on Perth Glory. Saturday night fixture. We are going to be doing a live watch-along for the Saturday night fixture. Our live watch-alongs this season are the Saturday night primetime games. So make sure to join us on Saturday night for Wanderers v Western. It should be a great clash, that one, because two teams who the Wanderers want to bounce back after being held scoreless at home, but Western United, I seriously think could grab a win there. Mariners at home against Macarthur FC. That should be a fun game to watch. Melbourne Victory will be heading into their home match against Newcastle Jets with a lot of confidence. And then Adelaide v City could potentially be the match of the round. Melbourne City, could they start the season with 2 losses to their name? That would be a disastrous start for Melbourne City. Fantastic week of games coming up this coming weekend. As I mentioned, keep an eye out for the round predictions video coming up later this week. Join us for the next stream this Saturday night, 7:30 p.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. Wanderers v Western live watch along. Guys, thanks so much for tuning in. Appreciate you guys being here, man. Hit the like button on the way out. I'll see you every single Monday for the round recap. Have a great week, guys. I'll catch you in the next one. Cheers.